Good morning. I would like to start this Lupus Awareness Month proclamation, which we started a couple years ago, and I've been honored to do it for the last few years by welcoming our participants. Today we are celebrating Lupus Awareness Month. And as I said, I'm really proud to sponsor this proclamation again to draw attention to this autoimmune disease, often called the cruel mystery. I'm here today with representatives from the National Institutes of Health, headquartered here in Montgomery County, which we remain proud that we have the National Institutes of Health here, the Lupus Foundation of America, representatives from GlaxoSmithKline, who produces one of the most helpful drugs that addresses lupus, and Endo Black, all of whom have taken time from their busy schedules to stand in solidarity with this simple message. We need more people to understand what lupus is. It's an autoimmune disease that affects about 1.5 million people in the United States. And if that weren't bad enough, it disproportionately impacts women of color. Over 90% of the people impacted by lupus are women. It's a very serious condition that is hard to detect, and you're going to hear shortly from some of our lupus warriors, like those behind me, who have had to wait an average of 6 years, often agonizing, painful, confusing years before being diagnosed. Once you're diagnosed, unfortunately, the treatment options are few and they're very expensive. I was just with my amazing wife, Michelle Jawando, who is a lupus warrior herself, at our daughter's career day, and she had a good day today. Took her medicine in the middle of the day yesterday because she knew she would need to be in good shape this morning. She's living a full and harmonious life, but it's a daily challenge that sometimes gets in the way of her goals, her career, and her aspirations. We now know a lot about lupus, but it chills me to think about the many people who are out there struggling, who are undiagnosed, who don't know what they're dealing with or don't know how to get help, or who have family members who are undiagnosed because they don't know what lupus is. Nothing more frustrating than having someone you love who's in pain that you can't help. There's so much unmet need around lupus. We need to get better at detecting the signs, since they are varied and can be very subtle. We need to understand the warning signs and the risk factors. For example, there's a significant relationship between conditions like endometriosis and autoimmune diseases like lupus. That's why we have Lauren Cornegay here from Endo Black, who has spoken before, but who really works to get that out to the public. We need to develop better treatments so that those living with lupus can truly thrive. That's why we have GlaxoSmithKline here. They've developed Benlysta, which has been the most prescribed FDA-approved biologic for lupus, and they produce and have a facility here in Montgomery County that produces that. We have amazing centers at Johns Hopkins and in the University of Maryland Medical Center, and we have to continue to grow community among those whose lives are touched by lupus. And that's what the Lupus Foundation of America really excels at. And I want to just take a moment, I'll lift this up. They have a great chart that talks about understanding lupus if you go to their website or on their social media. And you should read it because I guarantee you it's probably impacting someone in your life. So now I want to thank everyone who's been here, and I want to thank all those who are out here who are supporting family members or loved ones or themselves who are dealing with lupus, particularly our Black and Indigenous and people of color, our women, who deserve our respect, protection, and awareness, and our investment. So with that, I want to bring up some of our lupus warriors who are here on behalf of the Lupus Foundation of America. And I don't know who's going to go first, but who wants to go first? Come on up.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christine Zamet. I'm a lupus warrior survivor of 21 maybe years now. I've been affected in many ways. I'm a healthcare provider as well. And so as I take care of people, I have the challenge of also taking care of myself. Days like that for me, I can wake up extremely tired and I still have to go to work. I still listen to people. I still care for people. And sometimes it's difficult with the amount of pain, extreme fatigue. The fatigue, I think, is probably one of the worst parts of lupus. And I would have to say that I'm really encouraged to hear that Benlysta is local because I just started taking that and it's amazing. And it's given me a new lease on life. I have more energy lately and it's helped to manage the pain that I was experiencing. And I'm going to have an opportunity for my other associates to come up and share, but it's definitely something that's impacted my life, and I'm grateful that I have the support of friends and family that make it all easier.
Carol Cordova. Come on up.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carol. I'm originally from Bolivia. I was diagnosed with lupus in 2015 after 5 years of unexplained fevers that took me to the hospital for admission and even a referral to an oncologist. When I was diagnosed, I was referred to a rheumatologist, and I've been able to adhere to a treatment since then. As you may or may not know, there are not enough or sufficient lupus treatments out there in the market. We rely mainly on immunosuppressants as well as on prednisone. And the medications that we take, even though they increase our quality of life, they also have a lot of side effects. And so we need more research and funding for research to come up with better treatments and to research for a cure. I am able to work part-time thanks to the treatment that I take, but I can attest that I wouldn't be able to work if it wasn't for Benlysta, which is the current medication that I do take. So I'm here today representing a lot of lupus warriors who fight an invisible disability, because a lot of us, even though we don't seem that we have a chronic condition or a disability, we do. And even though we have good days, on our bad days, or as we call it, on our flare-up days, we can be hospitalized. We can go for weeks without working. And so lupus really impacts every area and aspect of a lupus patient, meaning the quality of life, the social life, the emotional, psychological, and also the financial aspects of our lives. And thank you so much for having me here today.
Tori, right?
Yes. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I know I'm a little tall today. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tori Dickerson. I was diagnosed with lupus at 16 years old, but I started presenting symptoms at 14 years old. So my daily struggle is fatigue, but the main lupus that I have is lupus nephritis. And I share with my other lupus survivors that I am on Benlysta. It does help a lot. But as you can see, this disease is very invisible. We all look beautiful today.
Yes, they do.
But we do have daily struggles, and it's just great to be able to work in an environment where I'm understood, I'm heard, but that's not everyone's story. So that's why advocacy is very, very important. Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause to all three of our lupus warriors. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. We're also joined by Zach Feuerherd, who's the Senior Director at Lupus Foundation for America. So thank you for being here. Now we're going to hear from the National Institutes of Health and Dr. Hassani, who's the Chief of the Lupus Clinical Trials Unit and the Director of the Lupus Clinical Research Program. And members of his team are with him as well. Elaine Poncio, Isabel Ochoa, and Zoraya Manna. So Dr. Hassani.
Thank you so much. So first of all, thank you to Council Member for recognizing this important disease which affects, as you mentioned, women disproportionately, especially women of color who have much more severe disease. And as you heard from some of the lupus warriors, it's sometimes invisible disease. So on the face of it, patients look okay, but internally they're suffering, and it's a challenge for them and challenge for their families. At the National Institutes of Health, we have a very long history of doing research, trying to understand what causes lupus and how we can treat it better. We have been doing this for several decades, and some of the important breakthroughs in terms of treating lupus has come through the National Institutes of Health, which has set the standards to treat this disease throughout the world. But of course, we have a long ways to go, and we continue to do research. We continue to try to understand and try to make life better for patients with lupus, one patient at a time. So I'm joined by some of my team members here, as you've mentioned, and others are back at work who are still trying to take care of the patients, also being involved in research and trying to understand this. We have some information about what are the current current activities going on in terms of research at the NIH, and we have folders here that we can pass out to some of the warriors. But you can go to our website and get more information, not only about lupus, but also what are the things that we are trying to learn and understand. What are the things we are doing to trying to understand lupus and also trying to treat it better. So thank you again for this opportunity, and thank you to Montgomery County for recognizing this important and cruel mystery. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we're glad you're still there, and we hope you stay there. We know many of your colleagues are under attack, and we've all been very supportive of them. I want to thank Monica Cloud from GlaxoSmithKline, who's here, part of the great team that's producing that really amazing drug that my wife takes as well, and I'm just so glad that it's out there, and Lauren for being here, again, from Indo Black. All right, now I'm going to read the proclamation. And Katrina, who on my staff, who has been impacted by this disease too. Whereas Lupus Awareness Month is celebrated each May to raise public understanding of this chronic, non-infectious, and serious autoimmune disease. Autoimmune diseases cause the body to attack its own healthy tissue, causing a variety of problems. About 1.5 million U.S. residents have lupus, which has no known cause. And whereas there are 4 types of lupus, with systemic lupus comprising around 70% of all lupus cases. Systemic lupus impacts major organs, including the kidneys, lungs, heart, and brain. Signs and symptoms of lupus can appear inconsistently for years, including hair loss, headaches, painful or swollen joints, photosensitivity, swelling in the feet, legs, hands, and around the eyes, anemia, and pain in the chest. And whereas 90% of people living with lupus are women, women of color experience lupus at a rate 2 to 3 times higher than white women. The disease can affect anyone at any time, especially women aged 15 through 44. Lupus, sometimes called the cruel mystery, can become severe and debilitating, and is one of the leading causes of death among all young women. And whereas advocates and researchers are working hard to change the outcomes for people with lupus, GSK and AstraZeneca have developed pharmaceutical treatments, and the National Institutes of Health, Lupus Clinical Trials Unit, the University of Maryland Medical Center, and the Johns Hopkins Lupus Center all work to provide effective treatment. And whereas organizations like the Lupus Foundation of America make a significant difference in the trajectory of lupus awareness, research, and treatments. 78% of lupus patients surveyed by LFA in 2021 indicated that they are coping well. Through public awareness and advocacy, it is possible to expedite diagnosis, improve access to effective treatments, and create better outcomes for anyone diagnosed with lupus. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby celebrates Lupus Awareness Month, presented this day, the 22nd of May in the year 2025, by myself and Council President Kate Stewart on behalf of the entire council. Thank you so much, and please share the news.